Since the announcement that Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez had agreed to a high-stakes bout that would likely draw the interest of both fans and experts, the boxing world has been a flurry of excitement. There will undoubtedly be arguments, forecasts, and divergent views on who will win when these two titans of the sport square off. Crawford has established himself as one of the sport's most technically proficient and adaptable boxers, while Canelo is renowned for his unadulterated strength and power. There is a wide range of ideas among specialists on who is better in this possible fight. Crawford may have a real chance to win because of his technical prowess, ring IQ, and versatility, according to some pundits. Some claim that Crawford is incapable of handling Canelo's stature, strength, and knockout power. It's difficult to argue against either fighter because they both have outstanding resumes. Both boxing fans and experts, however, are keen to analyze the main elements of the bout and the variables that could affect its result as the two men prepare to square off. The weight issue is one of the main issues raised by boxing legend Mike Tyson. Tyson is especially worried that Crawford, who typically weighs 168 pounds, will move up to fight Canelo. Tyson voiced his disdain of the fight, claiming that Crawford had already suffered from size and awkwardness against Israel Madoff and that a battle with the inherently larger Alvarez may be harmful to the smaller Crawford. Crawford's skills are indisputable, Tyson emphasized, but the weight difference might be too much for him to handle. Tyson also made it apparent that it would be an incredible accomplishment if Crawford were to conquer such a challenge. Another well-known figure in the boxing world, David Benavidez, also commented on the bout and said that although he recognized the size differential between the two combatants, he still thought Crawford was a strong opponent. Benavidez said that Crawford had a genuine chance of shocking Canelo because of his work ethic, skill set, and mental toughness. Although he acknowledged the difficult task of taking on a fighter of Canelo's quality, particularly in a higher weight class, he said Crawford has the weapons to prevail. Despite his size disadvantage, Benavidez pointed out that Crawford might be able to overcome Canelo's physicality because of his versatility and ability to fight from a variety of angles. Although he acknowledged the dangers, Benavidez hinted that Crawford might surprise everyone by winning by a surprising margin. But not everyone is as hopeful about Crawford's prospects. In his analysis of the bout, the renowned fighter Roy Jones Jr. stated that Canelo will probably win if he goes into the ring in peak condition and follows his strategy. According to Jones, Canelo's superior stature and strength would be too much for Crawford to handle at his peak. However, Jones also pointed out that Crawford might exploit Canelo and possibly win if he shows up unprepared or not at his best. Jones claims that the fight depends solely on the Canelo that appears that evening. Sean Porter, one of the fighters who has direct experience with Canelo in the ring, expressed reservations about Crawford's capacity to absorb Canelo's power. Porter acknowledged Crawford's toughness and tenacity, but he questioned if he could sustain Canelo's blows for the whole 12 rounds. Porter, who has previously faced Crawford, admitted that although Crawford has exceptional defensive skills, Canelo's strength and knockout power could be a significant obstacle, particularly considering the weight difference. Porter acknowledged that despite his misgivings, Crawford's intelligence and skill level might still make this a compelling clash. Amir Khan, who has previously faced Canelo, warned Crawford not to participate in the bout. Khan, who is well aware of Canelo's punching power, voiced concern over Crawford's decision to move up to 168 pounds, which is significantly heavier than his natural weight class. Based on his personal experience with Canelo's strength and the risk Crawford would encounter if he is caught by a clean shot from the Mexican champion, Khan issued the warning. However, former champion Caleb Plant also voiced his opinion, praising Crawford's special skills and adaptability in the ring. Although there is no denying Crawford's skill set, Plant pointed out that a major contributing element is the size difference. However, he also noted that Crawford has often demonstrated his ability to adjust and overcome obstacles, which is why he thinks Crawford might make the fight more competitive than most people might anticipate. Crawford is not your average fighter, Plant said, and his flexibility could play a significant role in how this bout turns out. Another up-and-coming boxing star, Teofimo Lopez, offered a more pessimistic evaluation of Crawford's prospects versus Canelo. Lopez maintained that Crawford would eventually be unable to handle Canelo's stature, strength, and expertise lifting heavier weights. According to Lopez, Canelo's strength would be a deciding factor, and he projected that Crawford would most certainly lose in the 8th round. Lopez thinks Canelo's bulk and physicality would eventually overwhelm him in the latter rounds, even if he respects Crawford's abilities. Similar thoughts were expressed by Ryan Garcia, who pointed out that Canelo is simply too large and powerful for Crawford, particularly at 168 pounds. Although Garcia acknowledged that Crawford is a talented fighter, he thinks the smaller Crawford will face significant challenges due to the weight class. He underlined that weight divisions are in place for a purpose and implied that Crawford will find it difficult to contend with Canelo's stature and strength, particularly as the bout goes on. Known for his frank evaluations, trainer Joe Diaz was especially direct when he said that he doesn't think Crawford has a chance against Canelo. One of the main factors, according to Diaz, is the size differential, which Crawford would almost certainly be unable to overcome. He maintained that Canelo has repeatedly shown that he is capable of taking punches from much larger opponents, and he doesn't think Crawford could return the favor. Diaz was clear in his view that Crawford would be unable to cope with Canelo's strength and size disparity. Although he acknowledged Crawford's skill in the ring, promoter Eddie Hearn voiced worries about the match because of the huge weight disparity. Hearn stated that because of the size differential, even if Canelo defeats Crawford, the victory will not be as significant. Crawford's move up to 168 pounds, according to Hearn, is risky and might result in a mismatch that could endanger Crawford's career. Hearn was doubtful that Crawford could overcome the weight difference, despite acknowledging his skill. Conor Benn, on the other hand, presented a more impartial viewpoint, arguing that the bout is basically a 50-50 match. Benn thinks both boxers have an equal chance of winning since Crawford is a strong opponent due to his technical skill and ring smarts. Although he acknowledged that Canelo's bulk would play a role, he said that Crawford's flexibility and adaptation in the ring would bring the bout more closer than most people would imagine. According to Benn's analysis, the battle is open-ended and, depending on how it plays out, either fighter might win. One of Crawford's closest friends, Shakur Stevenson, was totally supporting his friend and predicted that Crawford's abilities would finally prevail. Crawford is not as little as people believe, Stevenson stressed, and his exceptional physical training allows him to compete at 168 pounds. Stevenson denied that Canelo would overwhelm Crawford, claiming that Crawford would have the advantage due to his skills. He pointed out that Crawford's flexibility and his capacity to change tactics throughout a fight would enable him to overcome Canelo's strength and size. It was clear that Stevenson had faith in Crawford's abilities since he was convinced that Crawford could win. Additionally, trainer Stephen "Bradman" Edwards expressed his confidence that Crawford could defeat Canelo, pointing to Crawford's greater strength, reach, and agility as crucial advantages. Crawford's ability to adapt to his opponents and find methods to win even in the face of challenging circumstances was emphasized by Edwards. Crawford is extremely well-conditioned, and his ability to move and fight efficiently while moving would be vital in a bout with Canelo, Edwards noted. Crawford would have to use his movement and cunning to outmaneuver the larger man, Edwards said, and avoid standing in front of Canelo. Crawford is just too talented, too intelligent, and too prepared for Canelo, according to legendary trainer Teddy Atlas, who predicted him to win with confidence. Atlas noted that Crawford would have an advantage against Canelo due to his excellent boxing IQ, his ability to adapt during fights, and his general ringcraft. The fight would be won by talent, he said, downplaying the size gap. Atlas was convinced that even against a fighter as formidable as Canelo, Crawford would prevail thanks to his preparation and battle savvy. The boxing community is still split on who will win Canelo versus Crawford as the bout draws nearer. Will Canelo's strength and size win out, or will Crawford's superior abilities and versatility enable him to pull off an upset? There is no doubt that this bout has all the makings of a classic, and everyone will be eagerly awaiting the winner to demonstrate their supremacy in the ring.